Okay, in this video we're checking out the Volantex Ranger 600. This is a beginner RC airplane, 3-channel operation, elevator and rudder, a couple servos inside there. Runs off a 1S battery, 300 milliamp hours with a micro low-C connector, brushed, I think it's an 8.5mm motor, so it's all very lightweight. Got a nice transmitter here, 3 modes. You have an expert, intermediate, and beginner mode on this switch. And I believe the down position is the expert mode, the up position is beginner. Check that out here in a second. Typical 3-channel operation. You have elevator, and then rudders on this side here, and then you have throttle over here. Power switch runs off of 4 AA batteries. Should be pretty good beginner airplanes. Got nice dihedral, so it should self-level even if you don't have the gyro stabilization. That's the beginner mode is gyro stabilized, so it'll keep it level and it will minimize your bank angle so you don't actually end up crashing. Got right, left, up, down, middle. Intermediate is also gyro stabilized, and then expert mode, no gyro stabilization at all, so it's all manual. Start off in the beginner mode. So you have to push the throttle all the way up, get those beeps, and then that'll arm the throttle. So it looks like it needs a little bit of up trim. I'm having to pull back on the elevator just a little. But you can see that this gyro stabilization working as it's getting bounced around a little bit in the wind here. It's a very light airplane. I think it's like less than 60 grams. So let's turn the other way. So the bank angle is very limited, it's very minimal, so the turns are going to take a little bit more airspace, so you probably need a little bit bigger area to fly. I'm going to go up a little higher here. Yeah, you can see that wind bouncing it around. Try the intermediate mode. Okay, so now we got much more angle here, so you want a little more authority, control. Try the intermediate mode. I might be able to do loops with this one. I think this is not not quite. I think I have to go to complete manual mode to do that. Yeah, they won't let you roll over. I think that's mostly because of the dihedral of the wings. And the wind is starting to pick up a little bit here. You can see that plane getting a little bounced around. Not exactly sure what the flight time is on this. I think they advertise like 15 minutes or something like that. Pretty long for like a little tiny 1S battery. Let's try the expert mode. Yeah, it looks like it'll let me roll over. Oh, there it goes. Oh, kind of. So if you get kind of far away from yourself, just flip it back into the beginner mode. And it'll just self-level. Yeah, this has a lot. I think this is a very strong tendency to want to stay level because of the dihedral in the wings. So this is not a very acrobatic airplane, even in the manual mode. I couldn't really get it to do a loop. I think the elevator authority is a little bit lacking on the upside. Possible I need to adjust the control rod, push rod. It might be out of trim. I just basically took us out of the box. I'm flying it exactly the way it came. Yeah, overall, a pretty good experience, I think, would be a pretty good experience for a beginner. Yeah, the wind is definitely picking up some more here. It's much more stable in the beginner mode with the gyro stabilization. So if you do the typical bank and yank here, you can get some tighter turns instead of just using rudder. So bank and yank is pulling back on the elevator while you're turning hard over on the rudder. You get some tighter turns, and I'm also applying a little bit more throttle. So you do have to kind of use all three channels. But yeah, I think this would be pretty easy for a beginner to learn. And the foam is, I think it's EPP, so it ought to be pretty durable in most crashes. And of course repairs are probably going to be pretty simple, hot glue. The gyro stabilization seems to be working pretty well, considering this little wind here and how light the plane is. Alright, let's cut the throttle here, see how it glides in here. Let's totally throttle off into the wind. That's a very nice landing. So the gyros are keeping it nice and stable there. I really should be launching over that direction, but I'm going to launch back again with the wind here. So if you want to land it, you just turn it back into the wind and just cut the throttle. This is throttle off right here. Very easy landings, especially if you're in a nice little grassy soccer field like this. Probably should have just caught that one. You can hear the gyros moving the servos there. Just looks like the elevator doesn't have that much authority. Yeah, that's full elevator up right there. Yeah, more down. You can see that the rod's pulling, so there's more down than up. So there's 3 holes in that linkage there, so I might have to move that to get more authority. So if I pull, like, if I'm up like this, yeah, it wants to keep it level, so if you do this, it wants to go down. But if you go up, I think there's more when your nose up. It's interesting. It should be the other way around. It doesn't seem to affect the flight too much. It seems to fly okay. Tried to catch it that time. Fail. Let's try that again. Throttle off right there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you could probably slope soar this at a nice little hill or something. Actually, let me adjust the trim. It seems to have a little bit of down trim on the elevator. Alright, let's try that. Oh. I think I'm going to have to manually adjust the elevator trim. Give a few more clicks of trim here. It's not bad. It's just I can tell I have to pull up on the elevator a little bit. Just a little out of trim. That thing just floats there. Look at that. Well, it's quite windy there. Look at that. Pretty windy. Oh, it's the wind's getting pretty gusty right now. You can just see that getting kicked around, but look at it's just maintaining level. It's pretty nice for the price. I think this is around $50–$55. Oh, it's getting pretty windy right now. Yeah, this thing's getting really bounced around. I'm actually amazed that it hasn't crashed yet, considering how gusty the wind is. If you just go get a few more of these 300 milliamp hour batteries, they're pretty common. They're pretty cheap. You can get them under $5 each in most places. Get a bunch of these batteries. You can fly this all day long. I think this is one of the newer Volantex models too, in the Micro 1S brushed planes that have come out recently. There have been a few of them that have had the stabilizer. I think this is the first one I've seen that looks like the Ranger. That's a very popular Volantex model with a larger version. It's a very big version and a mini version of this. So I guess you call this the Micro version. 600mm, I think, wing. Oh, I think my battery is maybe starting to die. Yes, the battery is dead. Actually, I have no control. The battery just completely cut out there. I didn't even have any control with the controller. It was frozen in that bank angle that I was in. But you can see that I'm going to turn the radio off. The motor is still going. Very interesting. So I think the receiver has cut out, but the motor is still going. Here, let's turn this back on. It does not want to seem to connect. I think the battery, the voltage is too low for the receiver. They have no control. So that's interesting. So you've got to watch your flight time, because if the battery dies on you, the motor just keeps going like that. So that's kind of that should stop in a failsafe. But it looks like the receiver is not going, but the motor is still going. There's enough voltage to power the motor. Obviously, it'll eventually die. You can see here it's running out of power. But go ahead and unplug it. So that is kind of an issue. That's not a good thing. So you probably need to have a timer of some sort. You keep track of your battery flight time, so you don't kill your battery and then end up having it just fly off on you. Luckily, I was kind of close. I could tell that at the end there, the battery was sagging and the power was going, so I was kind of flying near myself. Anyway, it's going to do it for my review of the Volantex Ranger 600. Overall, I give it high marks. pretty good beginner RC airplane. Very inexpensive. It flies pretty well, even in gusty, windy conditions. So definitely would recommend this one if you're looking into trying out some RC airplanes. Put a link in the description if you're interested in checking it out, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.